What if hope is a bad thing? What if holding on to a positive, or rather a better resolution of a scenario, isn't at all virtuous but obsolete? What if it is not just misguided but evil or even dangerous? Let's take for a discussion the story of the Pandora box. It is an old Greek myth. In the dawn of mortal time, when earth was young and men walked around untroubled by sickness or sorrow, the titan Prometheus divided Zeus. He stole fire, a divine and flickering fire, and gifted it to men. And with this fire came warmth, craft, and particularly consciousness. For this, Zeus was furious and he swore punishment. To do this, he ordered Hephaestus to create the first woman. So from the clay of earth, a woman was sculptured. The gods particularly adorned her with beauty to dazzle the eyes, cunning speech, deceitful charm, and most importantly, they gave her a burning flame of curiosity and named her Pandora. Zeus then take this woman to Prometheus' brother, and caught by the beauty of this woman, Epimetheus decided to marry her. As a wedding gift, Pandora brought with her a jar, a sealed vessel, mysterious and most importantly, forbidden to be opened. But as you remember, she had been particularly deliberately crafted with the seed of curiosity sprouting in her. So what did she do? She lifted the lid, and from within burst all the agonies of the world: sickness, death, hatred, lies, war, old age, madness, mystery, all danced out of the jar and took over the world. Pandora sat sad and crying, but when she looked into the vessel, there remained one thing unmoved, and that was what? Elpis, that is, hope. Remember, this is a myth, so that is to say, this story teaches hope. It is, in fact, a hopeful message that despite all the horrible things sweating the world in mortal suffering, there is always hope. This little dazzling shiny glimmer at the bottom of Pandora box is our little savior in this story. However, philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, if you know him, read this same story and had a different opinion. As far as Nietzsche was concerned, I think hope is the most insidious of all the evils that flew from Pandora's vessel. Hope, in reality, it is the worst of all evil because it prolongs the torment of man. I think, given such an independent thinker and a shatterer of truth that Nietzsche was, it is suggestible that he had thought, how could there be anything inherently positive in a box that was prepared to unleash evil, which make every sense? Pandora was given the jar, and even her existence was an act of revenge. Wouldn't it be questionable then if something that could possibly benefit the world, which was in fact targeted, was simultaneously added? Well, we could say it was probably lenient. However, when you look at the place and the role that hope plays in the world we exist in, at least, it goes both ways. That is to say, hope can in fact be our little friend and comforter getting through the adversities of life. Also, it can indeed be a tool of continued delusion as fueled by Nietzsche. So the ponder is forthrightly, is hope a good or a bad thing? You see, a lot of the time when you have an idea, a thought, or belief, there is usually this need to check with precedents and all you can find. At least I do it that way majority of the time, not because I'll feel inadequate in my opinion or whatever it is, or because I necessarily need the validation of relating to or with others. I think for me it is a practice to extend the profundity or whatever that is, because one thing for sure is when you go on the lookout for theory, opinion to navigate whatever it is, you will be met with two parties, twins, that is, those on the same boat as you and others, those on the other side of the boat. And I genuinely believe this helps you see beyond your own very sentiment and be able to affirm and assert where you truly stands. All said and done, I personally think while the story of Pandora generally preached hope as a vital tool, and Nietzsche, on the other hand, refuted the presentation of hope as a positive tool. What he did not say, however, was they don't continue to exist. Even with sentence like it prolongs the torment of man, only when this statement is wrongly interpreted can it be seen as a call to nihilism, which, if taken on passively, equates to giving up on life. In Nietzsche's argument to why he did not think hope is any different from the rest of the evils, Nietzsche claimed it makes man endure evil rather than reject or overcome or even try to question it. And when you relate this claim with the Pandora box story, Zeus, who was the central divine force, unleashed all these calamities on mankind simply because it was defied, not strongly for any necessary cause. But with the princess of this last gift in the vessel, the first instinct, which seemed the most radical to men at the time, was to wait and hope when they can, oh no, sprung into action and seek remedy or even question Sue's action. And in real life, truly, if a man is faced with suffering at its peak, he can just reject or fight or seek his salvation to the length he can find it. But with the presence and the existence of something called hope, whispering perhaps tomorrow, he could just keep crawling, enduring more, expecting relief that may never come. So my opinion on if hope is a good or a bad thing is, while hope could be deceiving and even detrimental at the worst, it is imperative for life. I personally think being able to believe in something you cannot yet see is necessary to bring that about. However, I believe it should be in moderation. When hoping makes you docile, maybe it is not good. Like Nietzsche had opinionated, when the situation can in fact be tackled pragmatically, maybe you shouldn't hope. You know, some situations, they won't reveal themselves to you. But you see, more actions and will is required to take them on than hope. Hoping something will have a good outcome, even when everything points to the opposite, is brave. But when you spend too much time expecting, waiting, maybe it is the time to accept that as a permanent position. And if the thought of that sent you springing, maybe it is time to accept that you have probably used up the required hope for that situation, and it is time to look from Nietzsche's perspective. Rebel. Majority of the time, instead of just hoping, just seek to overcome. Hoping is beautiful, but in moderation, especially in a world where our sovereigns have been conditioned and orchestrated. Like if you find yourself in hell, but you are conscious that you have the will to move around, what will you do? Maybe move around, because why sit and take it? But either way, it doesn't change the fact that you are in hell, right? But in one choice, you are not even trying. Maybe silently hoping and praying some miracle happens, but in the other, you are exercising your will. So even if sitting or roaming doesn't change the fact that you are still in hell, if you stand on your feet and take some walk around, merely following directions as presented by your instincts, who knows? You just might discover the road to heaven, or one to the exit from your confinement. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. My name is Olawa, and I'll see you. Bye.